I DNFed 6 books in 2024. Let's talk about the books and why. Remarkably Bright Creatures is the first book that my book club picked for this year. I don't think any of us finished it. The conversations were funny though. This is about an older woman who is like a janitor at an aquarium and finds herself in a friendship with this octopus, and then there's also chapters that are POV from the octopus. Surprisingly enough, this book is boring. The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I'm not writing this off forever because Leigh Bardugo is one of my favorite authors, but I did read half of this and I just wasn't vibing with it. For the first half of this year, I was in a huge reading slump and I decided to pick this up at that time. I hope it's not the book itself. I really, really hope, but we'll see. The Unmaking of June Pharaoh. This one hurt because I really thought I was gonna love it. And I did really enjoy like the first 50 pages or so. It's about a woman whose family line has a history of kind of losing it, for lack of a better word. One day she finds a door that leads somewhere else. No spoilers. The writing is so decadent and beautiful, like the descriptions of things I loved. But it's this mystery, right? Like, where is she? What's happening to her? But it just dragged on and on and on, and we were getting no answers. And I was like 2/3 into the way of the book, and I'm like, what is happening? Why is nobody telling her what's happening? Can somebody just tell her what's happening? I didn't care enough at that point to stick through and find out what was happening. These Violent Delights. I've had this on my TBR for a long time because the Dark Academia girlies love this. It's like be gay, do crimes. I'd read a significant portion and no crimes were really occurring. And the writing style was so hard to follow. The passage of time was so difficult to discern. I just was not clicking with that, so I put it down. Sticking with that Dark Academia theme, A Deadly Education, another one that's been on my TBR for so long. I thought this was adult fantasy. It's not. It's YA, and it reads like it. It's set at a magical school where there are no teachers. Like, how are they learning anything if there aren't any teachers? And there are horrible, awful monsters that appear around every corner and kill the students. So you're lucky if you survive the day at this school. Personally, if I had a magical child, I wouldn't send them to school where they're probably going to die. That's just me. A really sad one, The Reformatory. This book is so long. I listened to like 10 hours of the audiobook and I was only halfway through. My thing with this book is I was just expecting more horror, more ghosts, less historical fiction. Of the 10 hours that I had listened to at that point, there were barely any spooky paranormal things happening. Had I known the real nature of this book, I would have been more on board. But yeah, so those are my DNFs. I can't wait to DNF even more next year.